Okay, guys, welcome. And it is officially time for us to get into the worst Minecraft player of all time bracket. I've been putting this off for a few weeks. I haven't felt like doing it, but it's time to do it. So, this is going to include players from multiple servers that I've played on in my lifetime, me and Stalker Dude. So, servers will include Hypixel, Murder Mystery, CubeCraft, FFA, and PirateCraft PMC. So yeah. As well as a few small random servers, and blah blah blah, you know. So I'll get into this. This is probably going to be a pretty long video. So yeah. So before I start, I would like you guys to make a prediction down in the comments for who you think is going to win the bracket. So, yeah. And also, whoever gets closest to guessing, actually, might end up winning something. I don't know. We'll have to see. But yeah. So you know who I'm talking about? Or you know who to put? I'll go ahead and go through the bracket. So on this side, we've got Archer Boy 444, Marmalade, Golden Money, Zach Bacon, Mixed, Portugal J, Penman, Kanye from Soup MC, Alex, Icy Wizard, Purple, Killed, Kate, Crazy Steel, God's Dead, and Razor. So choose somebody from this side for one in the final. And now we'll go over to the next. We have got Toast, Mojake, Lego, Sea Cacti, Cranberry, Ivy, Adafine, My Milk, Cotty J, Pluto, Cosmic, Finley, Pizza Jake, Creating with Cass, Gores, and Overchew. So, choose somebody from this side as well. So have somebody from each side meeting in the final, and then pick your winner. And whoever gets closest might end up getting to be in a video, so we'll see. So we'll go ahead and get into the bracket. So we will start off with Archer Boy 444. Archer Boy versus Marmalade. So Archer Boy, he is from CubeCraft, FFA, and he was a little sweaty PvPer, you know. He would just run around in pot kit all day, attacking you and then also shooting you with the arrow kit. And he would target us all the time, and he was horrible. He was pretty toxic, I would say. CubeCraft had the most toxic players we've come across, I would say. But yeah, he would just follow us all the time, shooting us, and we would just beat his ass. We didn't like him. He also hacked as well. We got him hacking in several videos, and blah blah blah. Annoying stuff like that. We made a few meme videos on this kid about him hacking. So yeah. And then we've got Marmalade. Now you remember the thing from Marmalade in the last video. She was harassing me to join her and Zerja's guild or whatever it's called. She even added me as a friend, asking me, and I was like, no, I'm not joining. I don't want to join. And then I blocked her shot, and she got mad at me for that, which, yeah. So yeah, between these two, I'm going with Archer Boy, because he's a bitch. So, now, we're going to move on. We got Golden Money and Zach Bacon. Both are from PMC. So Golden Money, he was in Rome, our most hated rival. Zach Bacon, he was also in Rome for a bit, but he was mainly in CSN, I think, is what it was. Both of them have sieged us before. But long stories for both of them. Zach Bacon, he'd attack us all the time. He'd attack us a lot more. He had it out for us. And what is it? He'd accuse us of hacking all the time, even though we weren't cheating on the server. He was the one that cheating. He broke a ton of rules, got banned multiple times. Very toxic player. He thought he was very good at PvP, but he wasn't. We trapped him multiple times, killed him, and he probably killed us maybe once or twice when we killed him like 5 times. For this, I'm gonna go with the most salty. It's gonna be Zach Bacon. So now we've got Mixed from CubeCraft and Portugal J from PMC. So Mixed, he was buddies with Archerboy444. And he would gang up with Archerboy to attack us. And follow us around to different lobbies trying to harass us. And Portugal J from PMC, Port J, he was in VER, Russian Empire, I believe is what it was. But he was basically our first day on PMC. He came and sieged us and attacked us as we were building our starter base and took all our stuff, and he did it like 3 or 4 days in a row. He would not stop attacking us. Then the second day we joined back, he did the same thing. The day after, same thing. And we reported him, but staff didn't do anything about it because he was a donor and they had it out for donors on PMC. It's like a pay-to-win server or something like that. But yeah, they would not do anything to Portugal J even though he was harassing us, and it's against the rules to attack players multiple days in a row. And then, finally, when we went to go attack him back a few weeks later, he came up with some bullshit thing saying we were going to use, like, hacks or something to get into his base and start telling staff to come over there and ban us or something. And then he got one of the helpers to come over and help him out, which you weren't supposed to have staff help out in sieges, but guess what? He did. He got staff to help out. Mixed is a bitch, but Portugal J, we hated the shit out of this guy for so long. We wanted his head for so long. I don't think we ever got it, though, unfortunately. We might have. I can't remember. It's been 5 years since we were on PMC. But yeah, I'm going to put Port J moving on. So, we have now got Penman and Kanye. Penman from CubeCraft and Kanye from Soup MC. So Penman, he's buddies with, Archerboy Mixed, and he'd target us all the time as well on CubeCraft. So we had a ton of people that hated us because we were kind of a group that would go out to get the players breaking the rules and hackers, and we got him banned one time, but he was immediately unbanned. But yeah, there was one point where Penman, he reported us for harassment for killing him so many times on FFA. And he had edited the video in such a certain way to make it seem like we were targeting him, even though he was the one targeting us. And yeah, it's 11:30 in the morning. I'm tired. I've worked 60 hours this week. I'm trying to do this. So yeah, Penman, not the best time to be doing this video. Oh my god. But yeah, Penman, he got us banned on the server for harassment, even though he was the one following us around, attacking us all the time, and we were having to kill him all the time. Because he was attacking us in the middle of fights and shit like that, but he claimed we were the ones harassing him. So yeah, the guy was a bitch. And then we got Kanye from Soup MC. He owned a small server we joined for few weeks just to see what the heck it was about. And he was so weird with his rules and shit. He was like such a dictator on that server. He so basically there was a resource world and a build world, and he got mad at me for cutting down trees in the build world because that's where I was going to build my base. He was like, "Oh, you can't mess with anything. You can't mine anything in the build world. If you want to do anything like that, you have to get it from the resource world." I was like, "Well, how am I going to build my base if I can't flatten out the land or cut down trees to build my house here?" And he got mad at me, so he banned me for that. And then, Stalker Dude, he was in VC with Kanye one time, and Stalker Dude got something to eat, and Kanye got mad at him for eating in VC, even though he was muting. He got mad at it, and he banned him. So yeah, we kind of made it a goal to troll Soup MC for a bit, and we did with alts and shit like that. And yeah, Kanye, I wouldn't say he's worse than Pinman. Pinman's the actual asshole in this situation here, so it's going to be Pinman moving on. So we are going to move on down to Alex! And, Icy Wizard. So Alex, you know the deal. Hacking, got caught hacking multiple times on Murder Mystery. And then Icy Wizard, he's a little kid, British kid from PMC. And we trapped this kid one time, and basically he had God armor on, which was full maxed out diamond armor on PMC. And when we killed him, he wanted it back, and he had a whole hissy fit about it. And then when, you know, he was demanding it back, so we were like, alright, we'll give it back, kid. So, we did something, we set something up to give him back the armor. But we had dyed a leather G-set of armor. Basically, yeah, leather armor made it look like diamond and enchanted it. And we gave it to him. And he got all excited, jumping up and down and all around like, yay, he gave it back, he gave back my armor! And then when he noticed it, he got all mad and pissed off, and then we left with his stuff, and then he basically tried to come back and siege us, which failed miserably. So yeah, between these two, it's, who do I want to give this to? Icy Wizard, nothing about, I mean, we didn't like him, he was weird. Alex is the hacker here, though, so it's going to be Alex! Okay, so we got Fish Boy Hermple versus Killed. Alright, so Killed, you're in this video because you asked to be in this vid. And Hermple's in this video because, you know, it's Hermple. You just got a bad pairing here. Bad pairing here. Because this was freaking randomly auto-generated, so it, just like the last one, so I couldn't be biased with shit. We don't like Hermple. We don't like him. He's the Fish. So Fish moves on. So moving down, we got Kate from, you know where Kate's from. And then we got Crazy Steel 6, which is from Exocraft, our old server that we used to own. And he was in season 2 of it. So, you know, Kate, she's just a bitch. Nobody likes Kate. And then Crazy Steel, he broke a ton of rules on our server. We invited him from CubeCraft because we were teaching him how to PvP, and we invited him over to the server. And he constantly started breaking rules and griefing and stealing shit. So, after he blew up somebody's base, we were finally like, alright kid, that's it, you're done, you're getting banned from the server. And he got all mad, and his friend started griefing, so his friend got banned as well. So yeah, this is a harder one because it's two, like, nons, really. Kate's just a bitch, but Crazy Steel, he actually messed stuff up on our server, so I am going to have Crazy move on. So now we got God's Dead from PMC. He's the owner versus Razor, which is from CubeCraft. Razor was. Why am I starting with Razor? So God's Dead. Nobody really liked him just because he was the owner. He had some weird rules for the server, and yeah, just kind of weird. But then Razor. He was also a hacker from CubeCraft FFA. He would target us all the time with Potkit. We got him caught hacking multiple times in videos. You've seen it before, and we just recently ran into him on a Murder Mystery, as you saw in that one video, and I quivered on him. We definitely had a major hatred out for Razor, so it's going to be Razor moving on in this part. Okay, first half of the first round is complete. Let's move on to the second round. So next up, we got Toast, which is was basically just one of our old friends. Alright, so next up is Toast, which was basically just one of our old friends, I guess you could say. I wouldn't say he was a friend, though. He was a friend of somebody we knew on Minecraft. But yeah, Toast was just a horrible person all around in real life. So we didn't know this when we were friends with these old friends, but this was probably back 8 to 10 years ago, I would say. But yeah, we met him on Hypixel, Murder Mystery, shockingly, that long ago. It was right around the time the game came out. But he was friends with this one girl, and we didn't know this. This girl he was talking to, she was 13, and Toast, could you guess how old Toast is at this time? Or when that was? He was 28 years old, dating a 13-year-old. We did not know this at that time. And then, basically, what we found out when it happened was, about 2 years later, we finally found out about that. And then she broke up with him. And he basically tried to kill himself. And put the pictures of it in the Discord. And we were like, dude, what the fuck is wrong with you? And we blocked him, stopped talking to that guy. He's a horrible person. We don't even know if he's still alive. I don't know. He doesn't deserve to be alive with the kind of person he was. And then Mojake, he's from PMC. And Mojake was definitely the worst, most hated player on PMC. He would go around harassing players all the time. He was on there for maybe a month at most before he got himself banned for harassment, but legit every day he'd go around harassing players, killing players, sieging players, making shit up, griefing, breaking all the rules, hacking, everything in the book basically. He came over and sieged us a ton, and we killed him every single time. I've got a ton of his heads somewhere in my base. I'll show it to you here. But yeah, between these two, this is a tough one. I wanted to choose Toast, but Mojake, he was a jerk. He had it out for everything. He even made a sword called Empire as a chode, which is hilarious. I tried to get staff to give it to me after he got banned, but they refused to give it to me, even though I was just going to hang it up as like a trophy in my room. So yeah, I think I'm going to give it to Mr. Pedophile Toast. So now next up we have got Lego from PMC and Sea Cacti from, Murder Mystery. So Lego, he was a helper on PMC, and You know, there were some major issues with him. He actually ended up getting banned a few years, like a year or two ago on PMC. But yeah, I'll work my way to that. So, Helper on PMC. So the first major incident with him was when we went to go attack Portugal J for him attacking us. He got Lego to go help out with the siege, which was against the server rules. Lego he helped defend a player's base by giving him stuff from creative mode. And then, finally, a few months later, when Rome came to attack us, he was there making recording some footage for Rome's siege, and he ended up falling down one of our traps, and he lost his elytra. And I picked it up and got it, and put it in my ender chest immediately when I saw that it was there. The thing was about elytras on the server, there were no more than 8 elytras to exist on the server, and a player that's only been on the server for about 2 or 3 months now has a elytra now. And I won it fair and square. He went in my trap and died, and I got it. Well, Lego got super salty about that, so he got staff to go into my ender chest and took the elytra away from me and got them to wipe the elytra achievement from my achievements. And yeah, the elytra that I had gotten from him was no longer mine because staff went in and took it out of my ender chest. And that pissed me off, and I quit the server for about a month or two because of that. And you know, Sea Cacti, she's just with all the other people. She's I know she's not, but she's Harple's girlfriend. I know she's not, but I'm joking about that. But yeah, Lego's the worst out of these. He was also a pedophile. He got banned for talking to a 13-year-old 2 years ago on the server. So yeah, he's gone. So it's Lego. Moving on, we have got Cranberries from Cube and Ivy. Cranberry also friends with all those other people from before. Archiboy, Mixed, Penman, Razor, especially Razor, I think. Yeah, especially friends with Razor and Penman. But he'd attack us all the time whenever they were around. There was basically a gang of like 8 to 10 people from CubeCraft that would all gang up on me and Stalker did at the same time and say, oh, we're better than you, even though we were getting 8v2'd non-stop. And it was harder to win like that, but we'd still win a good bit. Versus IB, IB, she's with the other kids. Pretty annoying. So, who do I want to move on here? I think Cranberry's moving on. I don't care. He was very annoying. So, we got a good matchup here. This is a tough one to decide. We got Aldefine versus Mind Melt from PMC. So, you know the deal with Aldefine. Doxed me, all of that shit. Was the winner of the PMC video. Not the PMC video, the murder mystery video. So Aldefine won because of all that shit there. You know the deal, I don't want to restate it. You can go watch that video again. I don't know. I'm too tired. Versus Mind Melt. So Mind Melt, he was a bitch. Nobody liked that kid. He was friends with Cody J and all that shit. He tried to siege us several times and we killed him a ton. And he was such a wimp. He broke one of the major rules on the server, but they just let it slide because he was a donor. Basically, you were not allowed to have your base in the shops because those couldn't be sieged. But he bought a big shop there, and that's where he lived. He built his base in the shops. And so he could not get sieged. But then he'd just go around, and he'd hide in shops all day. Not doing anything, so he wouldn't get killed or anything like that. But then finally, when he would go out, he would only siege like us and one other crew. Even though he got killed multiple times. Which he sucked at the game. He was a simp. Yeah. I think It's a tough one. It's a tough one. Do we want the Mind Melt, or do we want Aldefag to move on? Siri, give me a coin flip. Coin flip. Flip a coin. Tails, which would be the lower one. So Mind Melt is moving on. Shockingly upsetting Aldefine. No. So, Aldefine is moving on. I'm just kidding. So, I don't want to be recording this video. Next up, we have got Kati J versus Pluto. Kati J is from PMC. Kati J with Mind Melt, you know, like I just said. But yeah, Kati J, he was basically somebody that was friends with a guy that's not on this list, Jepterus. And we trapped Jepterus, and Jepterus got pissed because of us trapping him. So this is when a huge thing started. Kati J was like, he was going to constantly harass us and never stop. And yeah, he actually never did because he was scared to do it. But he made a huge thing out of it for months and months and months, going on and on and on. But he never attacked. So yeah. Versus Pluto. Pluto, you know the deal. Yeah. I'm going to make Kati move on in this situation here. And now we have got Cosmic versus Finley. Cosmic, he was the full name Cosmic King Taco, or Cosmic King Simp, versus Finley. Cosmic was the leader of Rome, and he didn't have it out for us. He attacked us a few times. Versus Finley, you remember Finley, she was the one that said I was weird for having a job and all that shit and wanting to be making money. Wanting to make more money so I can have a successful life. I want to be able to do shit with my life with the money I have. I'm gonna make good money if I want to be able to do stuff. I want to make it a Finley in this situation here because of just the weird. Why she's calling me weird for working. And she's the one that's got the black plus, whatever it is. I can't remember what it's called. God, I'm tired. Almost done. We got Pizza Jake with Cass. Pizza Jake, CubeCraft, Cass, PMC. Pizza Jake, he shopped on CubeCraft one day. And we didn't like shoppers because they'd have an advantage over all the other players. So we chased this kid down for like 15 something minutes. And he logged on us right as we were about to kill him, and it pissed us off. Because we spent all that time trying to chase him and kill him. Cass, she was one of the staff on PMC. We didn't like her. She was from Rome as well. She was very biased and shit towards Rome. She wouldn't do anything about punishing Rome when they broke the rules because she was in that crew. And yeah, I think I'm gonna put Cass moving on to this one. Now we finally got Gores and Overchew, both from PMC. Gores, he was a dick. He'd attack us all the time as well. But he was so stupid because he'd always end up getting trapped. He never beat us in a siege or a PvP fight ever. And then Overchew, he was somebody we met the very first day on PMC. And he was friends with us, helping us get set up. But we found out a month later, 2 months later, that he was working on inciting us, and he was going to take all our shit that we had and try to take over our base because he was trusted in the base. and he was going to take all our shit that we'd collected, so yeah. And we stopped talking to him after that. Blocked him. He tried to siege us. He could never successfully do it, even though he knew our base on the inside perfectly. But we changed some stuff up, so even if he did ever get in, he wouldn't know where to go. In this situation, Gores is going to be moving on. Got a lot from the other servers moving on. Not many from Murder Mystery, as you guys were probably expecting. Not many. So it's going to be time to kind of speed this up now, because this video is going to be super long if I don't speed it up. So moving on now to round 2. Which is going to be the round of 16. We got Archaboy versus Zach Bacon. You remember what I said earlier. Archaboy attacked us. Zach Bacon also attacked us. In this situation, the one I hate more, it's Archaboy 444. Here, it's Pinman versus Portugal J. Poor J used help to attack us. Blah, blah, blah. Versus the Pinman. Pinman got us banned for no reason, even though he was the one harassing us. It's going to be Pinman moving on to this situation here. We got Alex, the hacker, versus Herpel. This is a tough one, actually. I think, though, I want it to be Herpel. And now we got Crazy Steel, the kid that grieved our server, versus Razor, who would attack us all the time and harass us. Razor moves on. So we got the matchup of the pedophiles here. But because of the situation with the PMC, Lego overreaching his power to get staff to take back my Elytra that I got from him, and him doing all the other illegal stuff on the server, breaking rules, getting himself banned there, it is going to be Lego moving on. So now we got Cranberries versus Aldefine. We got somebody who harassed me versus somebody that doxed me. So, what do you think is going to be the situation? Harassment versus doxing is the doxer in Aldefine. So we got Weirdo versus the Very Weirdo. In this situation here, I think I want to have, shockingly, it's going to be Conti J, just because of the way he was on PMC. Nobody liked that guy, really. He was weird. Just pulling off some weird shit. So next up we got Cass, the weird admin, versus Gores. Gores is the dick. He's going to be moving on. And this one, what is going on with this bracket now? Just because of the way he kept dying in our traps. So we're now on to the Elite 8 of the bracket. So we got Archaboy versus Pinman, Hermpel versus Razor, Lego versus Aldefine, Conti J versus Gores. So what is it? Like 2, 3... We got 3 from Cube, 3 from PMC, and 2 from Murder Mystery left. So we'll start here. Who do I think is worse? Do I think it is going to be Archaboy, or is it going to be Pinman? So, the one of these two that pissed me off the most, it's definitely Pinman, because of him going out of his way to say we were harassing him to get us banned on the server, when it was the complete opposite going on. And staff only appealed mine. They didn't appeal Stalker Dudes. They accepted my appeal, but not Stalker Dudes for some reason. I don't understand. So it's going to be the Pinman moving on versus one of these two. So is it going to be Hermpel or Razor? Hermpel, he is just a fish versus somebody that constantly hacked on the CubeCraft FFA. Razor's moving on, beating Hermpel. It's a CubeCraft matchup in the semifinals. versus Lego and Aldefine. So we got the guy for overreaching, and we have now got Doxer. This is another tough matchup right here, where it could go either way. And I honestly don't know who to choose between this one. So, the bracket's set up weird because it could have been any of these players differently based on how it was set up. So, I think here I will be choosing I gotta think. I actually have to think about this.
Several months later.
Okay, I think I've made my decision. I am going to make it the one that doxed me. Aldefine! Moving on to the final four. And now we will move on. We have got Conti J versus Gores. Gores was the one that attacks us more, so I'm going to make it Gores moving on to the final four. So, here we go. The big moment. Which two will make the finals? Do we want it to be Pinman, or do we want it to be Razor? CubeCraft was so long ago, it's hard to remember. Ugh. Who do I want to do? Which one? I'll make it Pinman, since he got us banned. Now, do I want it to be Gores, or do I want it to be Aldefine? I think just because the doxing, it's going to be Aldefine. Moving on to the finals again. So we got Aldefine versus Pinman for the worst player ever that we have come across. Do we want it to be the Pinman? Or do we want it to be the Aldefine? It would just be repetitive if I made it Aldefine. But Pinman, he actually caused me some rage back when I PvP'd just because of how much he harassed us and actually getting us banned. It would not leave us alone. It's like he would hunt us down non-stop. And yeah, we had it out for that guy. We actually severely hated Pinman because of him harassing us the way he did and getting us banned. Because of that, I actually think Pinman will be winning the worst player of all time bracket today. So yeah, here's a recap of your bracket. It could have gone any different way depending on how the randomness was mixed up. It could have had a completely different player in the finals based off of who was placed where. So yeah, you got Pinman as your winner today. Thank you for watching, and if you want to see me do a different kind of bracket like this, let me know, and I will do something eventually. It's just, it was hard for me to record this video because of work and everything like that. I was just too tired knowing how long this video is going to take. I've just now recorded it. I still have to get a whole bunch of pictures and clips and shit together of all these players to put in to show you stuff about them. So yeah, that's gonna end this off. Thank you for watching this one, and shish.